The siren had barely gone quiet when Officer Daniel Harris stepped out of the patrol car, the evening air still warm and golden, the neighborhood calm in that fragile way that always felt like it could break at any moment, and that was when he saw her, a little girl, no older than 6, running barefoot down the sidewalk, her pink dress wrinkled and dusty, her hair tangled, tears streaming down her cheeks as if they had been falling for a long time. She didn't slow down when she saw the police car, didn't hesitate or look afraid like most kids did. Instead she ran straight toward it with a desperation that made Daniel's chest tighten before she even spoke, and when she reached him she grabbed the edge of his uniform with both tiny hands, shaking, sobbing so hard she could barely breathe, and through broken gasps she cried, "Please. Please follow me home." And for a split second Daniel thought he had misheard her because children usually asked for help finding parents, or complained about being lost, but this was different. Her eyes weren't searching, they were pleading, as if time itself was running out, and he crouched down to her level, keeping his voice calm the way training taught him, though something inside him was already on edge, and he asked her name, asked where her parents were, asked if she was hurt, but she only shook her head harder, tears dropping onto the pavement, repeating the same words again and again, "Please follow me home, please follow me home," until his partner, Officer Maria Lopez, stepped closer, reading the same fear in the child's face, and with one look exchanged between them they both understood that whatever waited at the end of that request was not small, not ordinary, and Daniel gently wrapped the girl in his jacket, lifting her into the back seat of the patrol car, promising her they were going with her, that she wasn't alone anymore, and the girl nodded weakly. Pointing down a narrow street lined with quiet houses and trimmed lawns that looked no different from any other peaceful neighborhood, yet with every turn Daniel felt the weight in his stomach grow heavier, because the streets were too quiet, the kind of quiet that comes when people close their doors to things they don't want to see, and when they finally stopped in front of a small, worn house with peeling paint and a sagging porch, the girl suddenly started crying harder, her little body curling inward as if she wanted to disappear, and she whispered, "That's my home," and Daniel's heart sank, because before they even reached the front door, he could hear it, the faint sound of coughing, deep and weak, coming from inside, and as he stepped onto the porch, the smell hit him, not the smell of crime scenes he had known before, but something more painful. Neglect, sickness, hunger. The door creaked open with a soft push, and what they saw inside would stay with them for the rest of their lives, because on a thin mattress in the living room lay a woman, pale and trembling, her cheeks sunken, her breathing shallow, eyes opening slowly as the light from the doorway fell across her face, and the girl broke free from Maria's arms, running to her mother, dropping to her knees, clutching her hand and crying, "Mama, I brought help, and..." Daniel swallowed hard as he knelt down, realizing the woman was burning with fever, her body weak from days, no, weeks, without proper care, and when he asked why she hadn't called for help, the woman tried to smile, tried to speak, but only managed a whisper, explaining that she had lost her job, her phone had been cut off, her relatives lived far away, and she didn't want her daughter taken from her, didn't want to be judged, didn't want to be seen as a failure, and so she endured, and the little girl endured with her, skipping meals, listening to her mother cough through the nights, afraid to sleep in case her breathing stopped, until that evening when fear finally outweighed obedience and she ran outside, watching for anyone at all, until she saw the police car and ran like her life depended on it, because in her small heart, it did, and Maria turned away, wiping her eyes, while Daniel radioed for an ambulance with a voice that cracked despite his effort to stay composed, and as paramedics rushed in moments later, lifting the woman carefully, wrapping her in blankets, the girl refused to let go, her fingers clutching her mother's sleeve as if the world might steal her away, and Daniel knelt beside her, promising again that everything would be okay, though he knew promises were fragile things, but this time, help had come in time, and as the ambulance doors closed and the siren faded into the distance, the girl looked up at him with red, swollen eyes and whispered, "Thank you for following me," and in that moment Daniel realized that this wasn't just a call, it wasn't just another report, it was a reminder of why he wore the badge, why compassion mattered as much as authority, and in the days that followed, the story spread through the town, not as gossip, but as a wake-up call. Neighbors brought meals, social services stepped in not to punish but to support, donations arrived quietly, and when the mother recovered enough to come home, she cried in Daniel's arms, thanking him not for saving her life, but for believing her daughter, for listening when a small voice asked for help, and the little girl, once so afraid, now smiled when she saw the patrol car pass by, waving proudly, because she had learned that courage didn't mean being big or strong, it meant running toward hope even when your legs were shaking, and as Daniel watched her wave one afternoon, he knew this was a story people needed to hear, a reminder to look closer, to listen better. To never ignore a cry for help, especially when it comes from the smallest among us, and if this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that kindness can change lives and that heroes sometimes come in the form of a crying child and an open door, then don't forget to support this channel by subscribing, because every subscription helps us share more real, emotional stories like this. Stories that restore faith, inspire compassion, and remind us all that sometimes, following a small voice can lead to something that changes everyone forever.